In the cold and dark space, near the edge of the galaxy, an alien research ship named Zirith floated silently. Its crew was small, just 5 scientists from the Varnak species. They were peaceful, curious, and always searching for ancient things. This time, they found something they were not ready for. "Captain Solrix, we are receiving a strange signal," said Neri, the youngest member. "A signal that hadn't been used in over 10,000 galactic years. This is human technology," he whispered. Everyone in the room froze. "But humans are extinct," said Droll, the tech officer. "The last war destroyed them, remember?" "No one ever confirmed it," Solrix replied. "They vanished. But no bodies, no wreckage, just silence." They followed the signal. It led them to a lonely part of space where no one dared to go. It was cold, empty, and full of shadows. "That a ship?" Neri asked, her eyes wide. It was a giant warship, almost 3 kilometers long. Black, broken, and silent. "It's not drifting like other exits. Watching, the Zirith crew felt a chill. Ships don't watch. Machines don't wait. But this one felt alive. They moved in closer, slowly, carefully. The name on the hull became CLERHSS, Revenant, a human warship. One of the old legends, Solrix whispered. Revenant. That means something that returns. From the dead, the crew stared at the ship in silence. Neri looked scared. "Do we dock?" Solrix nodded. "We didn't come all this way to turn back now." Inside the warship, it was cold and dark. "Is still running. But just a little," Droll said. "Life support is at 4%. No signs of movement." They walked down long corridors. All metal, all silence. Every step echoed. Then they reached a large room, probably the command. With sitting in it, the crew stopped breathing. A man, a human, frozen in cryosleep. Eyes closed, face calm, muscles tight. His hand rested on a control panel. His armor was ancient, but still looked deadly. "He's alive," whispered Neri. This changes everything." Droll scanned him. "Vitals stable. He's not dead, just sleeping." Suddenly, the warship spoke. "Intruders detected. Everyone jumped. You are not authorized." But the ship didn't care. "You are not authorized." A loud hum filled the air. A blue light appeared above the frozen human. A hologram, a human face appeared in the light, strong, serious, and angry. "This message is for anyone who finds this ship," the hologram said. "We are the last of Earth's defenders. We were betrayed by the Galactic Council. If you are part of them, turn back." The crew looked at each other, shocked. "We did not die," the hologram continued. "We waited, we planned, and when the time is right, we will return." The hologram ended. The room went dark again. Solrix whispered, "This ship is not just history. It's a warning." Suddenly, one of the crew members screamed. They turned. Neri was gone. Gone. Her scanner was on the floor, still blinking. Solrix shouted her name. No answer. Then the lights on the warship slowly began to turn on. One by one, the ship was waking up. Droll whispered, "Captain, I think we made a mistake." And somewhere, deep inside the ship, a heartbeat began to echo slow, steady, and very, very human. The warship HSS Revenant was no longer sleeping. After 10,000 years, it had begun to wake up. Inside the command bridge, the remaining crew of the alien ship Zirith stood frozen. Their youngest member, Neri, had vanished. Shouted, "Captain Solrix." No one answered. Only the warship's systems responded, cold lights flickering on, and a low hum growing louder, as if the ship itself was breathing. Droll checked the scanners. No life signs, except for us and the human in cryosleep. Solrix looked at the frozen warrior. He hasn't moved. But this ship is alive. The crew decided to retreat. They needed answers, but they also needed safety. Back. On their own ship, the Zirith Droll began copying parts of the warship's memory core. They didn't enter the system directly, it was too dangerous. Instead, they used a remote data link, hoping to pull out some of the logs. "Only a small portion is accessible," Droll said. "Seen before, the security, it's like the system is trying to protect itself." They opened the first memory file. A video log played. Log start. Earth year 7390 a human officer, standing on the same bridge they had visited, speaks into the recorder. "If you're seeing this, it means the Revenant has survived. That means we failed, or maybe we succeeded too well." The officer looked tired, angry, broken. "The Galactic Council betrayed us. We fought beside them in the Orion Wars. We gave everything. Then they turned on USB because they feared us." He looked straight at the camera. "But we don't die easily. This ship is a seed, a promise. One day it will awaken, and we will return." Login.dral leaned back, speechless. They were betrayed by the Council. Captain Solrix frowned. "This is impossible." The Council never spoke of war with humans. They said humans disappeared, nothing more. The logs didn't lie. More files appeared, some corrupted, some encrypted. One message stood out. It was titled Awakening Protocol. Level Red Drawl hesitated, then opened it. Suddenly, alarms rang through the Zerith. Unauthorized access detected. Activating countermeasures. The lights dimmed, the ship trembled, and then the Revenant's AI spoke again. "You have touched forbidden data. This ship is no longer in observation mode." Solrix yelled, "Cut the link now." Drawl shut it down, but it was too late. The Revenant was fully online. Its engines began to warm up. Its weapons powered. Inside the alien ship, chaos began. Systems failed. Gravity pulsed in and out. On the radar, a second ship was approaching. Bigger, armed, Imperial markings. Solrix recognized it immediately. The Varnak Empire's war. "They're here for the Revenant, too." The warcruiser hailed them. "This is Captain Krovik of the Varnak Empire. Step away from the human warship. It now belongs to us." Solrix replied. "You don't understand. That ship isn't dead. It's waking up. It's dangerous." Krovik laughed. "A sleeping relic doesn't scare me. Humans are long gone. That ship is ours now." But before Krovik could send boarding teams, the Revenant sent a message. One sentence, one warning: "This ship is not yours. Turn away or be judged." Everyone went silent. Solrix whispered, "That's not a warning. That's a sentence." The warcruiser ignored the message and sent for boarding crafts toward the Revenant. The moment they touched its hull, boom! A blast of energy shot out from the warship. All 4 crafts were vaporized. Krovik's ship fired in anger. But the Revenant had already raised its shields. Old, but still powerful. It returned fire with a single plasma beam. The Varnak cruiser's front hull melted. Like butter, Captain Krovik screamed orders, but the Revenant didn't stop. Back on the Zerith, Drawl shouted, "It's not just reacting, it's thinking, it's choosing targets." Solrix stood still, watching the screens. It's not a ship anymore, it's a weapon, a living weapon. And deep inside the Revenant, the human captain in cryosleep moved just slightly. His fingers twitched, his eyes almost opened. The ship's AI whispered in the background. "Awakening, 10% complete." Smoke and fire filled the dark space around the human warship HSS Revenant, the Varnak Empire's cruiser. Once proud and strong, now drifted in pieces. Its weapons were destroyed. Its engines were gone. The Revenant had fired only once. On the alien science ship Zerith, Captain Solrix and his crew watched in shock. "They had no chance," Drawl whispered. "That human ship, it's a monster." Solrix didn't reply. His eyes stayed locked on the Revenant. Inside the warship, systems were coming back online. Lights glowed softly in the long corridors. Engines hummed. Doors opened and closed like the ship was breathing. Something deep inside was waking. The Revenant had started remembering. In the command center, the cryochamber hissed. The human captain, still frozen for thousands of years, was now only moments away from full awakening. The AI's voice echoed inside the ship. "Awakening 24% complete." In another section of the ship, projectors turned on. They played old recordings, memories of war, of betrayal, of Earth's final stand. The alien crew from Zerith tapped into the signals and watched from a safe distance. A hologram appeared showing a war. A massive one. Human ships burning across star systems. Alien fleets turning against them. Not just one race, but many. The Galactic Council had called humans too dangerous and decided to erase them, but they didn't succeed. Showed the last human fleet. standing in front of Earth. They were outnumbered 50-1. A human admiral looked at his officers. "We won't survive," he said, "but they won't forget us. Burn the stars if you have to. Make the galaxy remember our fury," and they did. The battle was so brutal that some sectors of space were still banned. Even after thousands of years, that was the moment the galaxy believed humanity had died. But it was a lie. Captain Droll said, "I think the Revenant was part of a secret plan, a backup fleet." They hid and waited. Solrix nodded. "And now we've woken it up." The AI spoke again. "Defense status? Active. Threat analysis in progress." Droll's screen flashed red. "Captain," he shouted, "the Revenant just scanned all known Council ships, including our database." "What?" Solrix stepped forward. "Why? I don't know. It's analyzing past enemies. It's selecting targets." Suddenly, the Zirith received a message directly from the human warship. Not a warning, not a threat, a request. "Upload Galactic Council records. Confirm present political structure." Solrix hesitated. "If we give it that data, we might be guiding a missile straight into the heart of the galaxy." But before they could answer, the screen changed. A human face appeared. Not the AI, not a hologram. The man in cryosleep was now awake. He had short, dark hair, a scar over his right eye, and a voice full of steel. "This is Captain Elias Ward, Earth Defense Fleet. If you are receiving this, it means I have returned." He looked tired, but focused. "I don't know how long I've slept, but if the Revenant woke me, then the galaxy has not changed." He looked directly into the camera. "I will finish what we started." On the Council homeworld, far across the stars, the ancient races felt the change. Old sensors they forgot. Long ago, began to blink. .1. Elder looked up. "Impossible," he said. They were wiped out. A reply came coldly. No, they were waiting. Back on the Revenant, the human captain stepped onto the bridge. He looked at the stars, then at the map of the galaxy on the main screen. "Earth," he said. The ship's AI replied, "Earth is marked as a forbidden zone. No known contact in 10,000 years." Captain Ward narrowed his eyes. "Then we start with the ones who erased us." He pointed at the Council space, set course. Captain Solrix and his crew watched all of this. Droll turned to him. "Captain, what should we do?" Solrix stayed quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "We send a message to the Council." "What message?" Solrix looked at the burning remains of the Varnock ship, then at the human warship moving like a ghost across the stars. He spoke slowly. "Tell them, humanity has returned." The human warship HSS Revenant moved slowly through deep space. Its engines, once silent for 10,000 years, now glowed with red fire. Its hull was scarred but strong. The ship was alive again, and at its center stood Captain Elias Ward, the last warrior of Earth. He walked alone on the bridge. The metal floor echoed under his boots. Around him, the ship obeyed his presence like a loyal beast waking to its master. "Status report," he said calmly. The AI responded. "Systems at 74%. Weapons, operational navigation. Online, shields stable. No human signals detected in this." Sector Ward stared at the stars. "So, we really are alone." On the alien science ship Zereth, Captain Solrix and his crew watched him through a private feed. The human didn't know they were still close. They had hidden behind an asteroid, observing quietly. "His body is in perfect shape," said Droll. "He was asleep for thousands of years, but look at him, strong, sharp, ready." Solrix replied, "That's no ordinary human. He's a soldier, the last captain of their fleet. Neri rescued in Shakan spoke for the first time. I saw his eyes. They're cold, but there's pain behind them. He lost everything." They all stayed silent. They knew the galaxy would never be the same again. Inside the Revenant, Captain Ward opened an old locker. Inside was his armor black, heavy, marked with Earth's old flag. He put it on slowly, like a ritual. Each piece had a memory, a battle, a fallen friend. As he fastened the final strap, the AI spoke again. "Captain, Galactic Council fleet detected in nearby system. 5 ships, light patrol, Varnock and Assyrian-class vessels. Ward's face hardened enemies." These species participated in Earth's extinction war. He didn't blink. Then we make contact. The Revenant changed course. It moved like a shark through silent, deadly. The Council patrol ships didn't see it at first, but when they did, it was too late. One Assyrian captain sent a message. "Unknown ship, identify yourself," Ward responded. "This is Captain Elias Ward, Earth Defense Fleet. Your ancestors called us extinct. Let's test that theory." Then the Revenant fired. The battle lasted less than a minute. One ship exploded instantly. 2 more were disabled. The last 2 tried to flee. But the Revenant shot out their engines. No mercy. No second chances. Captain Ward stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the stars. "No survivors," he said. "Confirmed." The AI replied, "On the Council world Cardoon Prime, panic spread. A fleet had vanished. Only one message had reached. Them, the voice of a human." Elder Voller of the Council slammed his fist on the table. Earth was destroyed. Their sun collapsed. A younger counselor whispered, "The records say Earth was attacked, but no one confirmed their final death." Another added, "What if we only made them disappear, but not defeated them?" Fear filled the room. "They're back," Elder Voller said, "and they remember everything." Back in space, Solrix made a decision. "We have to speak to him," he said. "Captain, that's suicide," Droll warned. "He just destroyed 5 ships without blinking." "I know," Solrix replied, "but he's not a monster. He's a soldier. Maybe we can make him listen." The Zereth sent a small signal to the Revenant, just a simple message. "We want to talk." To their surprise, the Revenant responded. A voice came through. "Approach slowly. Weapons offline. 1 person. Only." Solrix suited up and entered a small shuttle. He flew toward the human. Warship like a mouse approaching a lion. Inside the Revenant, he stepped onto the metal floor. The door closed behind him, and there he stood face to face with the last human. Captain Elias Ward looked at him without blinking. "You're not Council," he said. "No," Solrix replied. "We're researchers. We found your ship by accident." Ward stared at him for a long time. "You woke the beast," he said quietly. "Now you'll see what happens next." Solrix took a deep breath. "Captain, I saw your memories. I saw how the Council betrayed Earth. But I also saw something else." Ward raised an eyebrow. "What?" "You never stopped fighting, even when you were losing. Even when the galaxy turned its back. That's not hate, Captain. That's honor." Ward didn't reply. Solrix stepped closer. "I'm not here to stop you. I'm here to warn you. The Council is preparing. They know you're back, and they will try to destroy you again." Ward turned back toward the stars. "Let them try," he said. Solrix looked at him one last time. "What are you planning to do?" Captain Elias Ward smiled. "I'm going to remind the galaxy what it means to fear humanity, far away from the Council's core worlds." In the cold silence of forgotten space, the HSS Revenant moved like a shadow of death. Inside the ship, Captain Elias Ward stood tall, fully awake, fully armed, and ready. He looked at the galaxy map glowing on his screen. Red marks blinked across at planets involved in Earth's fall. Species that joined the betrayal. Ward gave one command. "Activate the protocol," the ship's AI answered, confirming. "Awakening protocol. Are you sure, Captain?" Ward nodded. "Earth never got the chance to scream. Let the galaxy hear it now." At that moment, a deep pulse of energy shot from the Revenant. It moved faster than light in ancient frequency, known only to one race, humans. This signal had a name, the Echo of Earth. It wasn't just a message, it was a call to war across the galaxy. In dark, quiet places, old satellites blinked for the first time in thousands of years. Buried beneath dead moons, hidden in asteroid belts, resting under oceans, on lost worlds. Human war machines woke up in Sector 12. A deep crater began to rumble. From within, a black metallic sphere rose into the sky and unfolded into a massive stealth ship in a gas giant's orbit. An abandoned hangar door slowly opened. Inside were 3 human destroyers, touched by time. Their engines came alive. On a frozen exoplanet, a buried base unlocked itself. Human soldiers in cryosleep were still inside. Their lights turned green, their eyes opened, and one word echoed. In their heads, Revenant, back on the warship, Drawl monitored the energy waves from the science ship Zereth. "Captain Solrix," he said nervously, "those signals, they're not just pings, they're activation keys. He's waking up." "Others?" Solrix's eyes widened. "Others?" "Yes," Drawl replied. "Other ships, other captains, other weapons hidden for thousands of years." Neri whispered, "He's not alone anymore." On the Council homeworld, alarms screamed. Dozens of red dots appeared on galactic radar. Elder Voller stared at the screen in horror. "What is this?" A technician shouted, "Unknown ships, Council Elder, dozens, possibly hundreds," all responding to a single signal. "What signal?" Voller demanded. The technician turned pale. "The one from the human ship." A hush fell over the room. Meanwhile, Captain Ward stood at the center of his ship's command bridge. He watched as the holographic map updated. 1, 2, 5. Then 10 other ships showed up. Human ships, long forgotten, now awake. The AI spoke again. Destroyers responding, "Commander Arya Vale is active." Dreadnought, HSS, Black Sun, now online. Subcommanders, ready for orders. Ward smiled for the first time. "Tell them, the war never ended." Inside the HSS Black Sun, a tall woman stepped out of cryosleep. Her hair was silver. Her armor was heavier than Ward's. Her eyes showed fire. Commander Arya Vale, once known as the Storm of Earth, looked around her ship. "How long did I sleep?" she asked. 10,047 years, her AI answered. She cracked her neck. "Then it's time to finish the fight." Back on Zereth, the crew stared at the readings in silence. Drawl said what they all feared. "He's building an army." Solrix whispered, "No, he's rebuilding a nation." Inside the Council's central chamber, the panic turned to rage. Elder Voller roared, "Prepare our fleets, send the armada. We will erase the humans before they rise again." But some councilors hesitated. "They survived extinction," one said. "They hid under our noses for 10,000 years. How many more ships are out there?" another added. "And if they remember everything, what do you think they'll do when they reach us?" Fear spread like fire. On the Revenant, Captain Ward received a private message from Commander Arya. "Vale, Captain Ward," she said, her voice steady. "We've waited long enough. What's our first target?" Ward stared at a blinking planet on the map Tesser, primed the first world that voted to attack Earth all those years ago. He replied, "We burned the lie where it started." The galaxy was no longer quiet, from the frozen edges of forgotten systems to the hidden cores of gas giants. Humanity had returned, and now they were moving. The Council homeworld, Carduin Prime, was in a panic. Every screen across the planet showed the same thing: red alerts, ship movements, and one terrifying word: humanity detected. In the great chamber, the Galactic Council stood in silence. There were no speeches, no votes, only fear. Elder Voller looked at the screen, his face pale. More than 20 human warships, moving together. Another counselor whispered, "That's not a fleet, that's a revenge force." Meanwhile, deep in space, the HSS Revenant led the human war fleet like a blade through water. Captain Elias Ward stood at the command bridge, armor glowing faintly, eyes fixed on the stars. Beside him, the AI spoke. "Distance to Cardoon Prime, 11 light years. All ships in formation. Fleet status, combat." Ward nodded, double quotes. "What about the Council's response?" "They've activated the Grand Armada, 300 ships, mixed species, commanded by Elder General Sarik." Ward smiled coldly. "They still think numbers will save them." Inside the Black Sun, Commander Arya Vale paced her bridge. "All ships report in," she ordered. A dozen captains replied, one by one. Each voice belonged to a human officer once lost to time, now reborn in fire. "We never forgot," Arya said, loud enough for them all to hear. "Now it's their turn to remember us." Back on Zereth, Captain Solrix had a choice. He had witnessed too much. He had seen the Revenant's power, the awakening protocol. The fleet that was once a ghost, now flying with fury. His crew asked him, "What do we do now?" He didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "We follow them. Follow the humans." Droll gasped. "Yes," Solrix said. "If they win, history will be rewritten, and we must see it with our own eyes." In Council space, the Armada formed a wall of metal across the stars. A shield. A last hope, the Council sent one final message to the human fleet. You are entering restricted space. Turn back or face destruction. The Revenant responded, we already faced destruction. 10,000 years ago. We survived. Now it's your turn. The message was sent in every known language, so no one would misunderstand. The two forces met near the system of RALN-3, space filled with ships. The humans were outnumbered 10-1. The Council ships had the latest weapons, newest tech, and full support. The humans had old ships rebuilt from ancient metal, powered by something far stronger than tech. They had memory, they had rage, and they had Captain Elias Ward. Ward looked over his fleet. We do not fight for territory, he said. We fight for truth. He opened a channel to the enemy fleet. This is Captain Ward of Earth. We were betrayed. We were hunted. We were erased. He paused. Now we answer. Then he gave the order. Fire. The battle exploded across space. Council ships flew forward like a wave, but the human ships moved like ghosts faster than they should be. Smarter than machines, striking with brutal force, the Revenant fired its main cannon once and split. A Council battleship in half, the Black Sun released a shockwave that disabled 6 enemy ships in seconds. Old human tactics confused the enemy. Their AI couldn't predict it. Their sensors couldn't read it. The Council had forgotten how humans fought, and it was a mistake. They would not survive. On Cardoon Prime, the Council chamber shook. 30 ships gone. In 5 minutes, a voice screamed. They're not just attacking, Elder Voller said. They're sending a message. Another counselor whispered, it's not war, it's judgment. Back in the battle, many Council ships began to retreat. Others begged for mercy. The humans gave one reply, this is not the end, this is only the beginning. Captain Ward marked one final location on his star map, Cardoon Prime, the heart of the Council. He looked at the stars. Set course. Captain Solrix and his crew watched in silence. Neri whispered, they're not destroying everything. Only those who betrayed them. Solrix nodded. They're not monsters, but they remember pain. And then he added, if the Council had simply left Earth alone, none of this would have happened. In the shadows of space, the human fleet moved again, quiet, deadly, determined. The stars had laughed at Earth's silence for 10,000 years. Now, the silence was broken, and the galaxy was listening. The stars were silent again, but this time in fear. The human warfleet, once thought extinct, had destroyed the Council's armada. Ships that hadn't moved in 10,000 years now lit the galaxy like fire. And now, they were heading straight for the heart of it all, Cardoon Prime, the capital of the Galactic Council. Inside the Council chamber, Elder Voller stood before the galaxy's leaders. They are coming, he said quietly, and we cannot stop them. One counselor shouted, let us surrender. Another screamed, let us flee. But Voller raised his hand. There is nowhere left to hide. This is our reckoning. Outside, fleets of frightened species abandoned the Council's banner. No one wanted to face the wrath of Earth. Human fleet arrived. 100 black ships, led by the HSS Revenant, filled the skies above Cardoon Prime. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They only hovered, watching, waiting. The planet froze. Billions looked up into the sky and saw a truth their history books had hidden. Humanity never died. It only waited inside the Revenant. Captain Elias Ward stood tall. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with cold fire. He opened a channel. His voice echoed across every screen, every speaker, every corner of Cardoon Prime. We are the children of Earth. You tried to erase us. You failed. You lied to the galaxy. You called us monsters. You made us ghosts. But ghosts, remember. Today, we offer one choice, truth or oblivion. The Council sent a reply, a shaky voice. Weak. Afraid what? What do you want? Captain Ward gave the answer that chilled every heart. Justice. The Council was forced to broadcast their archives, the true records of the war, 10,000 years ago. The truth was revealed. Humans had helped the galaxy fight invaders. They had won battles no one else could. But the Council feared their strength. So they betrayed Earth. They used lies, ambushes, and secret weapons to wipe out humanity, or so they thought. When the truth went public, chaos followed. Species across the stars turned on the council. Protests, riots, uprisings, and in the center of it all, the human fleet stayed silent, watching the empire that tried to bury them fall apart from the inside. Back on Zirith, Captain Solrix and his crew stood in silence. They didn't fire a single shot, Droll said. They let the truth do the damage. Solrix nodded. That's the most terrifying kind of power. Neri whispered. They didn't come for revenge. They came to remind the galaxy what it means to betray humanity. On the surface of Cardawoon Prime, the council surrendered publicly. They stood before the cameras, shaking, crying, and begged for mercy. But Captain Ward didn't come down. Instead, a drone landed, carrying one final message: you do not deserve our fire, but you will live with our shadow. We are watching. We are remembering. We are humanity. The human fleet turned around. They didn't conquer. They didn't destroy. They simply left. But their silence was louder than any explosion. And across the stars, a new warning was born. Never wake what you don't understand. Never betray a species that remembers. And never, ever forget what happened. When the Revenant returned, years past, the Galactic Council was gone. A new order rose built on truth, fear, and respect. And every child in every world was taught one lesson. If you ever find a dead ship in the dark, don't touch it, don't scan it, and for the love of the stars, don't wake what sleeps inside, far beyond the galaxy's edge. In a quiet system, the Revenant landed on a nameless moon. Captain Ward stepped out. The stars were calm. He looked up. I kept my promise, he said behind him. A new human colony had begun to grow, not for war, but for peace. Because now, humanity didn't need to prove anything. The galaxy already knew.